Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll be discussing Hawaiian Gardens 13. Varrio Hawaiian Gardens 13, also known as VHG, is a Mexican-American gang located in Hawaiian Gardens, California. Hawaiian Gardens covers 1 square mile in southeast Los Angeles County and carries the distinction as the smallest city in the county. About 14,000 residents live in the town that was incorporated in 1964. In the 1920s, the area was rural, and the city took its name from a small refreshment stand decorated with palm fronds and bamboo that sold sandwiches and soft drinks spiked with moonshine. Most of the city's income comes from a gambling casino that generates about $9.2 million a year. The local gang, Varrio Hawaiian Gardens, traces its beginnings to the 1940s. And Luis Hero Flores, the founder of the Mexican Mafia, was from the VHG gang. The gang adopted the cartoon character of the Hawaiian Punch Man as their logo. Historically, their main rivals are Artesia 13 and the Chivas 13 gang, but they're most widely known for their hate crimes against Black Americans. A Hawaiian Gardens Latino gang member was shot to death in the late 1980s. Locals blamed the killing on Black gang members, though no one was ever arrested for that shooting. Allegedly in 1989, a few Long Beach Crips killed OG Buzzer from VHG. Buzzer was shot in the stomach with a 12-gauge shotgun and succumbed to his injuries. There was little fallout because Black gangs had not taken root in the city, which had very few Black Americans at the time. That changed as more Black Americans moved to the city in the mid-90s. Although Hawaiian Gardens had a higher poverty rate than the county as a whole, it offered cheap housing, a multi-city school district, and a thriving commercial strip along Carson Boulevard. What the newcomers did not anticipate was the backlash from a local gang determined to keep Blacks off its turf. From 1995 through 1997, more than 36 hate crimes were committed against Black Americans in Hawaiian Gardens. At first, the gang roughed up Black teenagers walking home from school. The attacks soon moved to Black American homes. Several homes were hit by Molotov cocktails. Gang members threatened Black residents as they left stores, walked on the streets near their houses, or ate at fast food restaurants. They repeated a simple message: "Get out of our neighborhood, Nick," usually underscored by the most common racial epithet. Virgil Henry never had a chance to get out of the neighborhood. He lived in Van Nuys and was headed to his parents in Hawaiian Gardens. When he stepped off a bus onto Carson Boulevard, he was walking to his parents' home when at least 10 Latino adults and teenagers chased him. He ran across 4 lanes of traffic into the parking lot of a busy strip mall. A driver that was stopped at a traffic light told police they heard Virgil shout repeatedly, "What did I do?" As he ran, he was gaining distance on his attackers until he tripped in the parking lot just behind a coffee shop. Shoppers saw the mob, which included women and men, stomp and kick Virgil, then bash his head with an aluminum baseball bat. A witness testified that when she stood over Virgil to assist him, he appeared shocked that a white person came to his aid. Prosecutors gathered enough evidence to pursue charges against only one of the attackers. Carlos Lucero, who was seen striking Virgil with the bat, was convicted of the murder in 1999 and is serving 16 years to life in prison. Carlos Lucero was not only a VHG gang member, but was also the son-in-law of a Mexican Mafia lieutenant. Let's rewind to the previous year. Martin Hammond was the first hate murder victim. He was gunned down one day in October 1996 as he walked on Norwalk Boulevard. Martin had grown up in Hawaiian Gardens. He was well known from his days as a football star at Artesia High School, but his local hero status did not spare his family from violence. Their house, which had been shared by 4 generations of the family since 1980, and 2 cars were set ablaze. The vandalism was followed by Martin slain. Rudy Villa, from the hate gang, was convicted in 1998 of the murder. Another VHG gang member was awaiting trial in the third of Hawaiian Gardens hate murders. Like Virgil's slaying, it occurred in 1997. Demario Young was shot just after getting out of his van in front of a relative's apartment building. Alberto Martinez, also known on the street as Badger, was arrested after he shot himself in the leg in a separate incident. Police tests showed that Alberto was wounded by the same pistol used to kill Demario. The city's hate crimes have happened both in spite of and often because of its increased integration. In one case recorded by the County of Human Relations Commission, a Black man was beaten while washing a car. When his attackers found out the car actually belonged to a Latino friend, they beat the Latino man for being friends with a Black American. At Way Out Ministries, which is a Christian recreation center and school whose members have included gang members and their children, teenagers say their friendships crossing racial lines angered the gang. One 14-year-old said he defied his 2 older brothers, who were both VHG gang members, by inviting Black friends to his family's apartment. His mother stood and watched as they played Nintendo. When the older brothers came home, she yelled, and the Black kids had to run out the back and jump off the balcony. The threats grew so severe that in 1998, the city school district arranged special bus services for Black Americans, and police would trail children walking home to protect them from racial attacks. In the years that followed, the city's hate crimes dwindled. Many believe that the arrest and imprisonment of several gang members has had a big impact in such a small town. Others think that there are fewer targets. At least 7 black families that were hate crime victims moved away. Fast forward to June 20th, 2005. A black man was helping a friend fix up his home on Joylett Street. This was a dangerous thing to do. The black man would later testify in court that a man with horn tattoos on his head approached him and offered to sell him drugs. When the victim refused, the horn man, later identified as Seppi, produced a gun. The victim tried to block Seppi's arm as the first bullet narrowly missed the victim's head. Seppi continued to fire the weapon, striking the victim in the shoulder and the buttocks as the victim ran away. The OSS gang unit had obtained a positive identification of the suspect with horn tattoos on his head from a photo lineup shown to the victim. Now they began their search for Seppi to arrest him for the shooting. 4 days later, at around 3 p.m., Deputy Ortiz was driving through Hawaiian Gardens on his way to deliver some papers when he spotted Seppi. As Deputy Ortiz tried to stop the gang member, Seppi ran down a narrow alley towards the gang-controlled apartment complex. As Deputy Ortiz waited for other deputies to arrive, he noticed one of the apartment doors was standing open. A few moments earlier, Seppi had also noticed the open door. Before the deputy arrived, he ran inside the apartment and hid behind the open door. As the deputy approached Seppi's hiding place, the gang members shot Ortiz in the head at close range. Shortly after, there was gang graffiti on the walls that boasted of the deputy's murder. VAG gang members even wrote a rap song about the incident. Seppi was eventually captured and convicted of the murder. He currently sits on death row at San Quentin Prison. Although justice was served, there has been speculation and unanswered questions surrounding the shooting. Many believe Ortiz and Seppi had a sour relationship prior to the shooting, and others believe jealousy could have played a role in the murder. In May of 2009, in the country's largest ever gang sweep, 1,400 law enforcement officers swept across the city of Hawaiian Gardens. Dubbed Operation Knockout, 88 gang members were arrested on federal and state charges. 63 of those arrested were pursued to 5 federal indictments, which named a total of 145 defendants. The Cabrera's Market has been the center of the Hawaiian Gardens Varrio since the store opened in 1952. The market is in the middle of a block of single-family homes and is plagued with gang activity. The VAG gang's main enemy is the Artesia 13 gang. Artesia was considered an enemy because it also tried to control areas in which to conduct its business. On January 13th, 2008, at around 8 p.m., Sauna, who was in a wheelchair, was wheeling himself down Eli Avenue when a green van drove up to him. The men inside proceeded to ask him where he was from. When Sauna said he's from nowhere, the men responded, "Yeah, you're sporty from Artesia." Sauna said, "I'm in a wheelchair, I don't bang no more." The driver then instructed the passenger to shoot Sauna and finish him. Shots began to ring out in rapid succession from the van, and Sauna was shot in the right armpit and the bullet lodged in his back. Police arrived and found Sauna lying on the sidewalk in a small pool of blood and in pain. He was taken to the hospital and remained there for approximately 2 weeks. The green van was spotted by sheriff deputies at approximately 1:30 a.m. that night. They observed Miguel driving and getting out of the van. After a brief pursuit, which ended in Miguel getting bitten by a police dog, he was arrested. Miguel Gomez, from VAG, was ultimately sentenced to 62 years to life. The VAG gang has also been in an active war with the Chivas gang. Chivas was once a very large clique of Artesia. It got so big, however, that it became its own gang, but they are still loyal to one another. Chivas has approximately 130 members and 30 affiliates and uses C's and goats as their symbols. On August 1st, 2007, a sheriff deputy was on patrol in Hawaiian Gardens when he heard approximately 8 gunshots, followed by the sound of cars speeding away. The deputy pulled up to the passing car and recognized the driver as Edward, who was a member of the VAG gang. Edward appeared to be scared and yelled, "Those fuckers are shooting at me in the white car." Edward pointed at the white Pontiac sedan and said, "That's them right there." Luis was driving the Pontiac, and Steve and Gustavo were his passengers. The deputy activated his overhead lights, while Luis began to speed away. During the ensuing 5-mile pursuit, Luis drove approximately 50 miles per hour over the speed limit and ran numerous stop signs and red lights. All 3 men were arrested after Luis stopped the car, and they all attempted to flee on foot. Luis admitted that he knew the Pontiac that he was driving was stolen. When asked if he shot any VAG gang members earlier that day, he replied, "Don't ask me, you know what happened. I can't say anything to you, you know what's up." Luis Doobie, from the Chivas gang, was convicted of shooting at an occupied vehicle, unlawfully driving a vehicle, and evading a pursuing peace officer. He was sentenced to 30 years to life. In present day, Although there's occasional flare-ups of gang violence that still occur, the grasp that VAG has over Hawaiian Gardens isn't as strong as it once was. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.